So again, thank you, everyone. Today, we're going to be focusing on a new SASE-based way of connecting and protecting people regardless of where they're working, so that your branch offices, remote sites, even campuses can be managed with the same set of policies, securely keeping your digital information safe. Joining me today is Timo Tiitinen, one of our global experts in network security, who's going to show you a demonstration of the things that we're talking about, live, so that you can get a sense of how this could fit into your environment.
Thank you, Jim. So let me go ahead and start the demonstration by sharing my screen. What I have here is shared is the actual, our orchestrator, the management center. And the benefit really for the management center is that it can manage all of our digital devices, regardless of their location and the platform they're using. So for example, in our example here, we have branch offices, but you can also have cloud location, like for example, AWS or Google Cloud Platform or Azure. So you can deploy the secure SD-WAN edge devices, not only on your branches, but you can also deploy them in your data centers and also in the public cloud locations as well. So the same management platform is used for all these different deployments. So we are truly a platform agnostic solution when it comes to the secure SD-WAN. And talking about the secure SD-WAN, I'm going to move on to our SD-WAN section here. And for example, here on the branch one, I can show you that we have actually 4 different links configured. So we have ISP6 and ISP7, which are direct internet access. And then we also have a DSL and an LT connection. So we're also link agnostics, meaning that you can use any combination of links in your environment. There is no limitation of how many links you can have. So you could, for example, still add an MPLS connection here if you want. So you could have MPLS, LTE, direct internet access, DSL. And all these links, they eventually create our IPsec-based overlay network. So we are creating a secure overlay network utilizing all these links that you have in your environment. And what you can do then on the environment is that you can actually decide how you want the traffic to be routed in your environment. So we do intelligent application routing where, for example, you might have something like voice applications that you don't want to on the fiber connection, on the DSL connection, but you always want to have them in the actual fiber, like more reliable fiber connection. So this way you can already decide how you want to steer your applications in your environment. So for example, you might have a file transfers that you want to have on a DSL, so the bandwidth like sensitive, and there is also it's like maybe some special bulk data transfer app that you want to have on the fiber links. So you can this way you can do like intelligent application routing on our secure SD-WAN, so over the overlay network. And the other thing what we do is that on the actual overlay network, we are constantly monitoring the overall performance of the links. So we are looking at the overall health and also jitter, latency, packet loss, and how much traffic is being sent. So these are kind of like real-time counters that we are utilizing all the time when monitoring the overall SD-WAN overlay network performance. And these values here then relate to the actual applications and how they be treated in the overlay network. So for example, in the configurations, you can say that for my bulk data transfer application, bandwidth is the most important thing. Jitter, latency, packet loss, and overall stability, they're like not so important. But then again, if you have like a voice application, you can define that, okay, for real-time voice application, jitter, latency, packet loss, and stability are the most important. So based on this criteria, what you're giving to the applications, the overlay network will automatically always choose the best path for the application. So you have a consistent application performance throughout the SD-WAN overlay network. Now, the other thing, what we all can do also for the application is that you can also control the bandwidth and in a sense that you can do full QoS. QoS is one of the core features for the SD-WAN, because the QoS, what you can do that when there is ever is a congestion in the environment, like let's say that the bandwidth is all being used, you can start prioritizing and guaranteeing bandwidth for certain types of applications. So this is making sure that your business critical applications always work regardless of the conditions of the network. So for example, good thing is like for if they're casual web browsing, you could, for example, limit that to something like 20% of the link spread. And when you're using the percentage values, it always matches to the overall bandwidth. So if you have different bandwidth links, the percentage values always like scale, so that the actual rules always match the best conditions of the link. But those are kind of like the highlights of the secure SD-WAN capabilities, where we do intelligent application routing, looking at jitter, latency, packet loss, overall stability, and the bandwidth of the overlay networks, and always choosing the best path for your applications. And let's move on now to the visibility that we provide. So, like earlier I mentioned, we have the visibility to the real-time statistics of the SD-WAN overlay, but we can also provide you historical view to the actual SD-WAN link performance. So what I can do here is I can, for example, go to this DSL line and select view netlink history. And this gives you then statistical view of how the link has been performing, for example, last hour, last day, or even last month. So this gives a very important data for the administrators, because they can see the overall performance of the link and then see if there is actually some consistent problems with the health of the link, and they can take it up to the actual ISP provider. So both historical and real-time link behavior, link performance statistics available. We also, when it comes to the visibility, is that we provide you application visibility. So you can see exactly what applications are, for example, the most bandwidth, what applications use the most bandwidth in your environment. So for example, in this environment, this demo environment, we have a custom TCP application that is utilizing hundreds of gigs of data. So this is how you can start seeing, okay, this application might be then further, throttled down, for example, or controlled with the QoS. We also give you visibility to the threat prevention. So you can see, for example, critical events that are happening, or high severity or critical events that are happening in your environment. And you can get also like generic network level information of like what hosts are sending most of the traffic, where they're going geographically. So we have a geo IP database in our solution where you can see where the connections are going to when it comes to the geo IP data. So, and all this is also backed with just real-time logging. So no matter how many devices you have in your environment, we have a real-time log data available. So you use a single view log browser to browse all your locations and get centralized logging that way. In addition to the real-time logging, you also have available statistical reporting. So you can do reports that span days, weeks, months, or years, and provide those reports by email to the parties that are interested in some of the data points that we had gathered. So that's kind of like in the comes to the visibility. So both real time and historical visibility to all the events that are happening over the SD-WAN environment. When it comes to the deployment of sites, so like Jim mentioned, is like you don't necessarily have to rip and replace your existing infrastructure. You can just add this into your environment. And one of the benefits of this management center is that when you are doing it new deployments, you can actually do a true cloud-based zero-touch provisioning. The idea is that all the definitions, the appliance definitions, the edge device definitions are basically stored in our cloud server. And when you do the shipment of the appliance to the final destination where it's going to be deployed, the appliance will automatically contact this cloud and it will download the connection information to contact the orchestrator. And this way, you don't have to stage the appliances beforehand. So you can just drop ship them to the final destination site and have the deployment to be fully automated using our cloud installation procedure. You can also do other types of installation. You can just plug in a USB stick and boot up the appliance and that way deploy it. Or especially in the software deployments, you can also do API-based deployments, like using something like Ansible or RESTful API to deploy the solution in a software-centric hypervisors. Now, moving on to the security part of our solution. So I'm going to go ahead here and go to one of the branches. And what our customers usually appreciate in our solution is the fact that how granular we can get with our security controls. So you have the classic source, destination, and service, but you can also with these cells is that you can actually do combination of multiple criteria. So we have something called source and destination editor, where we can, for example, combine a group like an AD group here and endpoint application. So one row here basically matches together. So this is an AND statement, and engineering and Dropbox update application on the endpoint. And if you add another row, it would be an OR statement. So you can do very granular control of the source and destination when you're doing the security policies for your sites. And one thing to note that is that we have, when it comes to security, we have full man-in-the-middle capabilities where we can decrypt TLS and inspect it and re-encrypt it back. So we can do both client-side and the server-side TLS inspection. And we are actually coming up with a new version in the 7.0 later this year. We are actually adding support also for the QIC, which is the HTTP3. So we have a native support for TLS 1.3, and then adding native support for the QIC later this year as well. So 90%, over 90% of the web traffic is encrypted. So the only way to provide true threat prevention is to do man in the middle and decrypt the traffic. So that is some of one of the security capabilities. What we have is that we can do very fast TLS inspection for the web traffic. You can also control insecure protocols. Our protocol inspection capabilities are very, very granular. So for example, here we are blocking insecure and obsolete protocols like SSL 2.0, 3.0, TLS 1.0, and TLS 1.1. And you can even block like let's say generic untrusted TLS if there is no valid certificate for that, or it's like self-signed certificate. You can block that with as an untrusted TLS. There is no real CA behind the connection. And on the security stack is what we can also do is that we can utilize our zero trust browsing by using our browser isolation platform. So Forcepoint also has available remote browser isolation, where the actual browser is not residing, browser process is not residing on the actual endpoint, but it's done virtually in our cloud. So this is one of the additional security services that you can add to your secure SD-WAN, is to utilize the RBI support. And when you do application control for SaaS applications and the other web, is that we're very granular with the definitions. Like for example, here we are doing Facebook access to certain of the marketing group only using Google Chrome browser and when they have a secure endpoint. So we can actually use our endpoint context agent on the endpoints to validate that the actual device has a proper security posture before we allow connections to the SD-WAN overlay network. So that's one of the security features as well with our endpoint context agent. And what we can do also important when it comes to the TLS inspection is to you can whitelist, for example, personalized identifiable data. So financial data and health, you can say on rule by rule basis, you can say that, no, we don't want to decrypt that traffic. We don't want to decrypt users' online banking or healthcare information. So that is something we can do as well on rule by rule basis, is to whitelist the TLS inspection. And we are very good, not just looking at the network applications. So we have over 7,000 network applications, but using our endpoint context agent, we can do rules based on the actual endpoint executable. So this is a capability that helps you increase the security efficacy because you're basically locking down the executables that are allowed to connect. So for example, you would not be using any obsolete browsers and just be using, like, for example, Google Chrome. So you have to have an up-to-date Google Chrome, and no other browser would be able to connect. And all this control, what we have here, is then further backed up by our deep inspection and file filtering. So you have a full IPS, IDS capabilities to protect you, for example, site-to-site propagation of malware or any worms. So when you have, for example, a full mesh topology and one site gets infected, our deep inspection threat prevention capabilities will make sure that the incident is isolated. And then we have full file filtering to protect against zero-day malware. So we can do file reputation, local anti-malware scan, but really the real protection comes when you do this zero-day sandboxing, where we actually detonate the files and make sure that there is no malware transferred from for example, from the internet to the host on the inside the network. So, Jim, what do you think? How does this look like as a secure SD-WAN solution?
Well, thank you, Timo. And what we're hearing from customers around the world is that this really, fits with that notion of using a SASE approach to connect and protect distributed organizations, particularly as people are beginning to come back home and work part-time in an office, part-time in a branch, work from home other times. And that's really what we're really looking at today, is how to make it simple to ensure that people get access to all of the applications and data that they need, no matter where they're working, while ensuring that the organization, and particularly IT teams, have that centralized visibility and control. And so again, thank you, Timo. Really appreciate you walking us through it. And thank you all for spending time with us today. For more information, go to the link there on the screen. We'll be happy to give you your own customized personal demo of this and how it can fit into your specific environment. And so on behalf of Forcepoint, this is Jim and Timo saying thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.